This is a this is a big day for our athletics department and for our football program, having an opportunity to be able to secure Coach Farley through the 2026 football season. As Jarek said, Coach Farley has had a number of amazing accomplishments throughout his tenure as our football coach, and has shown over a period of time that he understands how to work with and develop student athletes. He certainly understands how to run a football program, how to do so with integrity, and how to make sure that we continue to always put ourselves in a position to be able to compete in every game that we play in, to be able to be a team that's consistently in the playoffs, and to be a team that is among the very best in FCS football. So from our standpoint, have an opportunity to be able to lock up someone who has his experience and has his leadership skills and has, I guess, the accomplishments that he has had. And I certainly don't need to go through them. You can see them or read them in any publication that we would put out. But for us, it was important to be able to get this done. And so we feel fortunate to be in this position to be able to make the announcement today. And if you saw the release, it also indicated that from a financial standpoint, coming through COVID and all of the things that we have worked with and dealt with and financial impacts on the department, we were certainly happy that from a financial standpoint, we were able to make arrangements with Coach Farley to be able to put us in a more financially sustainable position in regards to his contract. And that was something that was important to him as well. I don't know anyone who cares more about Panther athletics and Panther football than Mark Farley. And so he always wants to do what's in the best interest of the program, even if it means, sacrificing something on his end. And that's one of the things I truly appreciate about Mark, is that whatever resources that you give him, whatever you put in front of him and tell him to go to work with, and he's going to do that. And he's not going to complain. And not only that, he's going to make sure that our student athletes understand that whatever it is that we have to work with, whatever resources we've been given, in whatever manner we're going to travel, in whatever situation we find ourselves in, the expectation of the program doesn't change. The expectation of the program is always going to be high. The expectation of the program is always going to be to win a championship. And so Mark does a great job of taking the resources that we provide and getting the most out of our student athletes. So just one of many reasons that we are happy that he's our coach. We're happy that he will continue to be in this role, providing leadership for the program, and that we're looking forward to a bright future for our football program. I don't know if you want to open it up for questions for me, Jarek, or if you want Mark to make a statement and open it up for both of us.
Let's go ahead and just open up for questions for David, so we can get out of here as quick as we can, David.
Well, David, what do you think it says about you and Mark's relationship that you can go to him with an extension and feel comfortable to, put the university in a better situation financially by whatever the pay reduction may be? I mean, that's a very unique position in college athletics. Most always, if a person's being retained, they're getting a raise.
Yeah, I think that speaks volumes about Mark Farley, right? I think it speaks volumes about his unselfishness and his love of this place, his love of Panther football, his love of Panther athletics, and his willingness to do whatever is necessary to be able to put us in a better position. So certainly, while it speaks to us having a relationship where I can make that request, I think it speaks more about him. Because there are probably any number of ADs who can make that ask. It's just not always going to be a workout to where the coach is going to be amenable to being able to do that. And so for us, we're fortunate to have someone who's not only successful and has shown that success and has shown that he deserves to be in the position that he's in, but somebody who's willing to step back and say, okay, I understand, what the big picture is. I understand the departments, across the country are struggling as we are going through the pandemic and trying to come out the other end. But sometimes people's willingness to sacrifice kind of stops at how it impacts them personally. You know, everybody's willing to make a sacrifice until it shows up at their doorstep. But it's rare to find people that are willing to make those sacrifices when it does show up at their doorstep. And that just, as I said, speaks volumes to Mark Farley.
Last one I have for you, David. Coaches in college athletics today, football coaches have so much on their plate, so many things that they have to do. What would you say about Mark's ability to fundraise for the program and how important that is in his role as head coach at UNI?
I think it's critical, especially in a place like UNI, where we have coaches who have been here for long periods of time. It's one of our strengths. If you look, across our 5 revenue generating sports, we have coaches in each of those positions that have been here for a long time. And so through that, you develop a number of relationships with donors and supporters and fans in the community. And so to have a coach who's been here as long as Mark has, he's developed a ton of relationships. And so he has an ability to be able to go out and have conversations with people who can make a financial investment in our program. Again, you will find that there are coaches at other schools who probably have the number of years in, but maybe they're not willing to make that commitment. They feel like, hey, from a fundraising standpoint, there's only a little bit that I'm willing to do there, right? Or that's all the athletics director or the development person or the person who runs the annual fund. But Mark has always been someone that, hey, if there's something I can do to help, if there's somebody I can talk to, if there's someone that we really are trying to get to hear and understand the story of Panther athletics or Panther football, then absolutely I want to be a part of those conversations, because chances are I have a relationship with that person already. Just being here for as long as I have been, even sitting in the AD's chair for a period of time, he has seen and been a part of a number of things over a couple of decades with our program. And so having him on board makes fundraising not only easier, but it also makes it more productive for us and allows us to get more done.
Thanks, David.
Thank you, Cole. Anybody else with questions?
So let's jump over to Coach Farley. Coach Farley, you can go ahead with some opening statements, and then anybody can ask questions.
Well, first and foremost is, just feel very appreciative and thankful to be here at the University of Northern Iowa and to have the trust and the commitment from David and President Nook of leading this program, continue to lead this program. So very fortunate and looking forward to the next few years. But before you even move ahead, you got to thank the people that got you this far. And there's many people within this university. There's many people within this department that are a big part of the success that we've had and created the opportunity in front of us. So appreciate all those people in this building right here today, as much as the ones that have gone before and were a big part of getting us this far. And then in a position to take the program even further now. So excited about it and really excited about the facilities and some of the things that we have on the horizon. And I tell you what, those things on the horizon are within the very near future, and not just on paper anymore, but are actually things that are being built and things that will be used and usable for us in the upcoming season. So we're fortunate for a lot of things, and I'm just thankful for the people, the community, and the university for entrusting us with this opportunity.
Mark, how do you see those upcoming facility upgrades contributing to future success of the program? Like, just how tied to winning can things like that be?
Oh, they're enormous for us. And I was just looking for the right word. No word is big enough to really emphasize what this means. The last big move that we made was when we redid the weight room and redid our locker room in the dome. And that was back in 2007. So this is an opportunity for our football program to really make some huge gains and put us in position for many years to come, not just for a couple, but this catapults us in a position with what we're doing with the dome, what's projected that we're still fundraising for the dome, and then the outdoor practice facility. I mean, those things are immediate needs. And when you look at the facilities we're talking about it, you're talking about immediate impact to the student athlete. The team meeting room will be the first time that we've ever had our own place to go meet. And we've kind of been moved around and made do with whatever building or room was open for us for years. This gives us an opportunity to have a place that we can go that has the environment of building a championship football team and having the environment to recruit a championship football team. And then when you go outside and you look at the outdoor practice field that we're going to build, that's for the student athletes. That's just not things that you're trying to do to show people. Those are usable things to develop young men on the football field. You're talking a classroom as a meeting room, and you're talking a football field where the practice and the development from that classroom is carried over on the field. So the two things that we're building are two things that have an immediate impact on the student athlete and the development of that student athlete immediately. And it's not just a locker room to get dressed in. It is actually something that's very usable and something that will make a difference in that development of that young man.
Can't hear you, Nelly. Oh.
No.
Okay. Well, Mark, how would you say, your vision for the program has changed over the years? Obviously, you're into your second decade now. What's it like when you envision what it takes to be successful going into 2021 versus, when you were just hitting the ground running when you first got started?
Oh, this is much different. You have to be able to adapt, and to do what we've done as long as we've done it is you have to be able to adapt. And things have changed over the years. In 2001, when we took over, I think we got the job on April 1st, and we went right into the football season. But in those years, the conference is not what it is today. We built the first. We've probably been through different phases, but that first phase was building it towards the 2005 to in that 2006, in that era right there is kind of was that quadrant of time of what football was during that era. I would say from 2007 through 2012 in that category, that was another phase of what the conference was like, the teams that were in this conference, the level of play within this conference. There was some dominant teams, a few dominant teams, but we weren't the dominant conference that we are today. And then I think since 2000, probably, 14 or 15 on, this has become, as of today, the most dominant conference there is. It is a loaded conference. It's got 10 teams in it now. I mean, it only gets stronger and more notable for not just one team in the league, but the entire league. And that's what's really changed. And then when you look at the level of play and talent in this league in 2001 to what it is today is, you can't even compare things, because you look at the number of players that are draftable as early as this coming Saturday that are coming from this league, as much as you look at the resources that are in this league right now. When you look at, when you drive into the stadiums and you look at the indoor facilities and complexes that we're walking into and playing. So recruiting has changed, resources have changed, talent has changed, and the game of football has changed. So you have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to make those changes. And then you have to have the people surrounding you willing to make those same changes and making those adaptations to meet the demand that you're up against. And that's what we're up against right now, but that's what we're fortunate for, because, when you look at what's going on within this athletic department right now, I mean, we're stepping up, meeting and exceeding the demands of this league. And through that once those facilities are usable and visible, I mean, you will see an impact from those things in the near future. I mean, that's how critical they are in recruiting, but that's how critical they are in development, because we've always had the dome. The dome's a diamond. The dome is a diamond, no question about it. Sometimes you have to shine that diamond, and we're in the process of doing that right now in the upcoming phases that we're going to go into. But in the meantime, while we have that great indoor facility and that great home field advantage, now you're looking at the things you have to do to develop those student athletes and recruit to that building and recruit to this league, which is now a national thing of the level that you're recruiting to, and not just a geographical area. It's more of a national competitiveness that we're recruiting towards and working with.
Thanks, Mark.
Hey, Jerry, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Hey, Coach, that kind of summed up what I wanted to ask anyway. But what was it like today to walk into the dome and maybe hear some hammers and see some progress finally being made on these projects that have been long talked about?
Well, that's patience isn't my virtue, and but I tell you what, the thing about this is, there's things that are going on. There's been things going on for the last 7 years. There's been people that we don't see or hear about that have done a lot of work over these last 7 years to create the dust that's going on in the dome today. So things don't happen overnight. And that's what we really have to really be cognizant of, is that at the University of Northern Iowa, you really have to understand this place. I've always said it's a very unique institution. It's a very unique athletic department. And we're very strong for a reason. And because of we have to have patience, but we have to have persistence. And through that persistence of a lot of people, there's dust flying today of the Van G. Miller team room that's being built right now. And we've been very fortunate. There's been a lot of meetings and a lot of progress towards the Doug and Ann Gotchke outdoor practice field. And those two things, you got $4 million worth of renovations going on that seem to happen overnight. But trust me, everybody in this building, there's been a lot of time, effort, and a lot of things that have gone into these projects that are going on that will make a difference, that are happening right now and will be usable this year. So it's really exciting to walk across the dome and see what persistence and a lot of people put a lot of time into. You're seeing the product of that start, and there'll be a time that we can all have a time that we can all see the actual result of that work.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you hopping on. If there's no more questions, we'll cut it there. I'm gonna have this.
Well, hey, I wanted to ask one real quick.
Okay, go for it, Rick. Sorry about that.
Hey, thanks. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm good, Rick. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Miss you, man.
I miss you too, man. Been a while.
Well, I mean, I remember you and I had a conversation. I mean, the dome was a big, in terms of recruiting, a big advantage for the University of Northern Iowa, because at that time, back in the 80s and 90s, no one had a facility like Northern Iowa. Now, teams, obviously, programs in the conference have caught up. What will these, I mean, will it be a bigger asset in terms of recruiting or player development with the new additions that you're expecting to get here soon?
I really think it's both, Rick. It's a huge in recruiting, because a lot of these kids right now, they walk on your campus and they want to see excitement. They want to see what the vision is. They want to see the support, and you show that through the things that are being built and the things that they will get to use specifically for them and their sport. And so I think it's huge in recruiting, because a lot of recruiting is, just that quick realization, or that wow factor that you need when they walk in the door. For myself, I think it's the best thing for us is the development, because the key to UNI is the development, taking a walk-on and make them into a 5-star athlete. And one, you have to get that person to come in your door, but two, you got to do a great job with them over the 5 years. And I've always said, it's not how you come in, it's how you leave. And it's what we do with those 4 and 5 years is what matters. And we can show what goes on here when you walk in the door and what you look like when you walk out that door. And if you come to the University of Northern Iowa, doesn't matter what 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, whatever you come in as, you have the ability, if you put your time in, you have the formula, you can walk out of here a 5-star. And through that is the development that we can show them. Here's the outdoor practice fields. Here's the commitment of our university towards you and your development as a player while you're here, just as much as your development as a student in the classroom, what we do academically. Here's our commitment to you to make your development on the football field. So those things are huge in recruiting, and they're huge in the end result of what kind of players stepping on that field, and also how much that players invested in this program because they feel the investment that's been put into them. So I think it's that internal spirit you're building through facilities as much as, you know, the excitement on a Saturday afternoon with a full dome, because ultimately that's what we all remember is game day in the dome with a full house and the place roaring. And there's a lot that works that goes into that, but that's the excitement that we work towards, and that's what we live for.